the chance that there's not a planet 9 is 0.2%. So it's 1 in 500.
What if our solar system isn't complete? What if, beyond the 8 planets we know, there's something else? A giant world hiding in the shadows, big enough to dwarf Earth, steering icy bodies with its unseen gravity. Could a 9th planet really be out there, waiting to be found? Not only are Konstantin Batygin and Mike Brown professors at Caltech, but they are also the 2 people who turned the solar system on its head. Batygin, a Russian-American astrophysicist who was once featured in Forbes' 30 Under 30, became famous for coming up with new ways to think about how planets form, drift and pull on each other that most textbooks never thought of. Brown, on the other hand, became known as the Pluto killer after finding Eris, Haumea and Sedna. These discoveries made astronomers take away Pluto's planet title and change the charts in the classroom. The Planet 9 hypothesis is the result of putting the 2 together. It makes the bold claim that there may be a giant planet hiding at the edge of the solar system. Their partnership didn't just make headlines, it also started a new debate around the world about what we still don't know about our own cosmic backyard. In 2006, the International Astronomical Union, IAU, met in Prague and changed the definition of a planet. The new rulebook said that a planet had to do 3 things: go around the sun, be heavy enough for its own gravity to shape it into a round shape, and, this is the best part, get rid of other debris in its neighborhood. That last part is what made Pluto's fate sealed. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune are the only 8 worlds that fit this definition. Pluto was moved to a new group called the dwarf planet.
In 2006, the International Astronomical Union decided that Pluto wasn't a planet anymore. Instead, Pluto is now officially classified as a dwarf planet along with 4 other confirmed dwarf planets in the outskirts of the solar system.
Ceres and 2003 UB313, which later became Eris, joined it, and more names were expected to come as astronomers kept looking for more. Pluto didn't just get demoted, it became the poster child for a whole new type of icy, far-off bodies that are farther away from Neptune. The IAU even started making plans for how to name these objects that are beyond Neptune, which suggests that our solar system's list of names isn't quite done yet. In early 2016, Caltech scientists Konstantin Batygin and Mike Brown made waves by saying that a hidden giant, which they called Planet 9, might be hiding at the edge of our solar system. They hadn't seen it in person. The case was based on math, models, and computer runs. But the numbers painted a crazy picture. A world 5 to 10 times bigger than Earth, on an orbit that was stretched out and sat 20 to 30 times farther from the Sun than Neptune. It took an incredible 10,000 to 20,000 years to make one lap. Strange patterns in the Kuiper belt, clusters of icy bodies acting strangely unless something large was pulling the strings, were the inspiration for the concept. As Brown himself noted, if it is real, this planet would dominate a region larger than any of the known planets and surpass Pluto by almost 5,000 times. Furthermore, if confirmed, it would be historic. Just the 3rd time in human history that a new planet has been added to the solar system. What made the announcement so wild is that Batygin and Brown didn't actually see the planet. No telescope snapshot, no glowing dot on a screen. Instead, they traced its existence through what you could call gravitational fingerprints. Certain icy bodies in the Kuiper belt, those distant leftovers orbiting past Neptune, were behaving in a way that defied explanation. Their orbits were all tilted and stretched in the same strange direction, as though something massive was out there tugging on them. Using heavy-duty math and endless computer simulations, Batygin and Brown showed that the simplest explanation was a giant planet lurking in the shadows. In a sense, they discovered it the way astronomers often detect planets around other stars. Not by sight, but by watching the environment bend to its gravity. For Mike Brown, this wasn't just another headline-grabbing theory. Remember, he's the guy nicknamed the Pluto Killer for finding Eris and sparking Pluto's demotion in 2006. This time, though, there'd be no debate. Planet 9, at nearly 5,000 times Pluto's mass, would be too big, too dominant to argue about. Brown even joked that it wouldn't just be a planet, it would be the most planety of the planets in the whole solar system, reshaping a region bigger than any of the 8 we already know. And the scale of what they were proposing wasn't lost on him either. As earlier mentioned, in all of human history, only 2 new planets have ever been added to our solar system map: Uranus in 1781 and Neptune in 1846. If confirmed, Planet 9 would be just the 3rd. That's not a small deal.
Standing up and saying, we think there's a 9th planet, is a pretty dramatic thing to say. And if we were going to say that, we didn't want to be wrong.
Batygin, for his part, pushed the idea that Planet 9 could be the missing puzzle piece behind a lot of solar system mysteries. Its gravity could explain why certain objects move the way they do, why their orbits look so offbeat, and maybe even how the whole system formed and evolved. Sure, the idea of a hidden planet beyond Neptune isn't new. Astronomers have floated versions of it for more than a century. But what made this case different is how tight the evidence seemed. It wasn't just guesswork, it was a model that fit the weird patterns no one else could explain. NASA stayed neutral on the name game, calling it both Planet 9 and Planet X to cover the bases. But even without a telescope photo, the buzz was huge. Because if Batygin and Brown are right, then tucked away in the frozen dark of the solar system is a world so big, so distant, and so strange that its discovery would force us to rewrite our understanding of the solar system's edge, and remind us that, even here, in our own celestial neighborhood, we're still far from knowing it all.
Everything that Planet 9 does to our solar system is done by gravity. So it's the gravitational influence of Planet 9 that we are basically reading.
If Planet 9 is really out there, finding it is like chasing a ghost at the edge of the solar system. The first problem? It would be ridiculously faint. At hundreds of astronomical units from the sun, sunlight barely reaches it. Even if it's 5 or 10 times the mass of Earth, the light it reflects would be so weak that compared to Pluto, it could look millions of times dimmer. Unless you already know exactly where to point the telescope, it basically melts into the darkness. Then there's the sheer distance. We're talking 400 to 800 astronomical units away on an orbit so stretched that it takes 10,000 to 20,000 years to circle the sun once. At that range, it barely moves against the background stars. To the eye, it's almost frozen, forcing astronomers to track massive sections of sky just to catch the tiniest flicker of motion. And that leads to the hardest part, the search itself. Even with powerful instruments like Subaru's Hyper Supreme Cam, the territory to scan is overwhelming. Hundreds of square degrees. Worse, there's a chance it's sitting near the galactic plane, hidden in a crowded field of stars and dust, where faint objects vanish in the noise. This makes the hunt for Planet 9 become one of the most brutal scavenger hunts in science, a needle buried deep in a cosmic haystack, where progress takes patience, precision, and maybe a little bit of luck.
Astronomers recently unveiled a fascinating dwarf planet candidate, 2017 of 201. This icy body orbits far beyond Neptune, taking an astonishing 256 years to complete a single journey around the Sun.
And lastly, one of the biggest hits to the Planet 9 theory came with the discovery of a strange new object called 2017 OF201, a distant icy body with an orbit so wild it forced astronomers to pause and rethink. It wasn't even found during a dedicated planet hunt. Instead, Princeton researcher Sihao Cheng and students Jiaxuan Li and Eritas Yang stumbled on it while digging through old sky survey images meant to chase down Planet 9 itself. They pieced together detections from 2014 to 2018. then backtracked through older data from the Canada-France-Hawaii telescope and even the Sloan Digital Sky Survey. By May 2025, the Minor Planet Center made it official. 2017 OF201 was real, and its path through the solar system was unlike almost anything seen before. This thing doesn't just orbit far, it lives in the extremes. On average, it sits about 840 times farther from the Sun than Earth, taking nearly 24,000 years to complete one trip around. Its orbit is stretched to an absurd degree, swinging in close at about 45 astronomical units, then slingshotting back to more than 1,600 astronomical units, right on the border between the scattered disk and the inner Oort cloud. Right now, it's just over 90 AU away, and even then astronomers can only spot it during its rare pass near perihelion. Yang put it simply, if we manage to catch this one, there are probably thousands more still hiding beyond Pluto. The object's past reads like a cosmic pinball game. First, Neptune likely kicked it outward. Then, over billions of years, galactic tides and nearby stars tugged at it, raising its perihelion. Some scientists think it may have even been flung into the Oort cloud before drifting back. Its orbit also looks eerily similar to another extreme TNO, 2013 SY99, hinting there's more going on out there than we understand. But here's where the controversy really heats up. Its orbit doesn't fit the neat pattern that gave birth to the Planet 9 idea. Unlike Sedna and other bodies whose orbits seem to cluster under the pull of a hidden planet, 2017 OF201 sticks out like a sore thumb. Chung ran simulations and found that if Planet 9 exists, it would have likely kicked OF201 out of its orbit within 100 million years. His first reaction was blunt. Okay, this kills Planet 9. Later he softened, calling it only 49% killed. Not everyone agrees with that verdict. Batygin pushed back, arguing Neptune's gravity, not some hidden giant, explains OF201's odd path. Chung countered that the object sits in a precarious spot, right at the boundary between being stable and unstable. Yang stayed on the fence, but other astronomers, like Samantha Lawler, took it as a bad sign, insisting that each new discovery like this makes the Planet 9 case weaker and weaker.
Not because it was the most massive, nor the most distant, nor the brightest, but because its mere existence calls into question the need for Planet 9 as an explanation for orbital anomalies.
So, is Planet 9 real? Astronomers are still scanning the skies, chasing its faint signal. If discovered, it would be one of the greatest breakthroughs in modern astronomy. Until then, the outer solar system keeps its secrets, reminding us how much we still don't know.